Welcome to episode 2 of Sport Thoughts podcast. And today I'm joined by Ynys Mon manager and director of football at Bangor 1876, Iwan Williams. Iwan, could you introduce yourself, mate?
Thanks, Craig. I'm Iwan Williams. I'm the current manager of Ynys Mon men's football, and also, as you mentioned, the director of football at Bangor 1876.
It's brilliant to have you on, Iwan.
Thank you, mate. It's a privilege to be on.
Oh, thank you very much. I think we better go straight in because we've got quite a lot to talk about. You're a busy guy.
Yeah, I have, mate. Not enough hours in the day.
So we'll start off with your playing career, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no worries.
There's a lot made about your management and stuff like that, but we're gonna go first into how you started playing football, basically.
I think I was quite obsessed with the sport from a very early age. Wasn't really interested in school at all, really. Just as long as I had the ball at my feet. So I played for the local village, Pen and Deirdre and Portmaddock, and then got picked up by Wrexham and spent a few years at Wrexham, and then disappeared to the other side of the world to America for a few years on a football scholarship. Struggled, believe it or not, with injuries in my last year in America, and eventually came home, played a bit in the Welsh Premier with Portmaddock again and Newtown and so forth, and in the Cymru Alliance with Llandudno, where I think I spent the majority of my playing career as captain, and thought I'd make a comeback last summer, and I think it lasted about 30 minutes before I unfortunately snapped my Achilles.
Oh, mate, I don't like to laugh, but oh, mate.
I know, bad, isn't it?
We'll get into your injury.
Yeah, no worries.
A little bit later.
No problem.
So management, how did that start? How did you get into management?
Again, related to injury. I remember being in Tesco somewhere, and obviously I was on crutches and in plaster cast again, having broken my ankle for probably like the third or fourth time, and I think I was only 28 years of age at the time, and I received a message on, I think it may have been Twitter or it may have been an email from the Welsh Football Trust saying, don't you think you should start taking your coaching badges now that you're riddled with injuries? And it got me thinking, and I immediately looked on the Welsh FA Trust website about how the coaching badges work, and I started on the C license in Treborth, believe it or not, about 6 years ago, and when I got on the A license, obviously the Carnarvon job came up, and it just spiraled from there. Really, I always knew that I had enough knowledge to kind of become a manager, and obviously the work ethic and so forth. And I gave up the playing career and gave the management spin a go.
Okay, then. Are we going to delve deeper into your management jobs, or?
Yeah, if you want, yeah. I'm quite open and honest, mate. Yeah, no problem at all.
So obviously, you kicked off with Carnarvon.
Yeah.
You had a successful time there, I'd say.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
What are your memories of being Carnarvon manager?
Oh yeah, they're all good, fond memories. They gave me the opportunity to start my managerial career, and obviously the first year was quite traumatic and successful at the same time. I'd never thought that we'd actually go. Well, I did believe we could go and win the league, but obviously there were some difficult teams in the league at the same time. In your Prestatins, your Kevin Druids and so forth, and still like your Flints, they're all difficult games. But we won the league by winning. I think it was 16 consecutive games, and we won the League Cup as well. And it was really, really, really enjoyable. Apart from obviously the last bits of it where we obviously failed the domestic license, so that was a bit of a kick in the stomach. But we went for the second season, but which was quite tough mentally, I think, where I lacked a bit of motivation. It was hard to keep hold of some of the players because they had like trust issues because of the fact we failed domestic license. But it was still a successful season in my opinion. We finished runners up to Prestatyn. We retained the League Cup, and then obviously we got to the Welsh Cup semi-final for the first time in 29 years. So, and then the third season was where we were going to go for it again. Made a few signings, but when a club, a lot has been made about me going across the Llandudno, but I think what people don't actually realise is, again, I spent the majority of my playing career at Llandudno, captained the side, really close friendships with people on the board, and still to this day I saw the ex-chairman in the hospital, believe it or not, today, and and when they came calling, it was a one-way ticket to the Welsh Premier, and as everyone knows, nothing's guaranteed in football, and that would have probably have been the only club that I would have jumped ship at Carnarvon for. So yeah, and then obviously moved into Llandudno, which was a massive learning experience for me because of the obviously they'd part ways with the previous manager, and the dressing room wasn't a nice place to be. There was a lot of characters, but to be fair, they didn't cause me any issues at all. We got on with things. We missed out on the top six on the final game. We went down to 10 men, hit the crossbar, so just fine margins, and we retained that place in the Welsh Premier League and looked to build, but circumstances in the summer meant we had to chop and change the squad, and obviously personal issues came into it as well, where it kind of took my focus and concentration away from the job in hand. And it was, to be fair, I probably appreciate my time at Llandudno a lot more than I do at Carnarvon, because obviously you learn a lot about yourself when you lose games and when you struggle, and than you do when you're obviously successful. So yeah, I've thankfully, and I do mean thankfully, I've experienced a lot of success and a lot of lows as well, which has kind of made me a bit more all-rounded, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Obviously, you ended up leaving Llandudno.
Yeah.
Do you wish maybe that you'd stayed there or had a bit more time, or any kind of like feelings like that, or?
No, I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not one to kind of shy away from the truth, and obviously people talk in football, people have got their own opinions, but um, if obviously I obviously lost my mother, and then obviously issues with my father and so forth, and during the Christmas period, I kind of I got into a bit of a hole myself personally. I think where I was struggling to continue, struggling in terms of being in at the forefront of a football club in the Welsh Premier, struggling to hold coaching sessions, struggling to do analysis because obviously my father was taking a lot of my time. And if I'm being honest, I was desperate to get out earlier because I wanted someone to come in and try and like reinvigorate the squad. But the club wanted me to stay put, and even if we were relegated, they wanted me to stay put and rebuild and go again. But I just wanted a clean break. I just felt as if I'd hit a wall personally. I wasn't giving Llandudno what they wanted in terms of commitment and the hours in which I usually would give a football club, and it just became a bit of a battle personally more than anything, where yeah, there was other kind of effects, kind of kind of hampering my performance as a manager in the Welsh Premier League. So I contacted the chairman, and I just said, I can't continue like this, because mentally I am drowning, and I need to go away and kind of try and fall in love with football again. And obviously the Anglesey Island Games came along in the summer, and that's where I kind of reinvigorated myself and fell back in love with football. Obviously, it also meant that things in my personal life started to settle down, and it gave me a bit of a light at the end of the tunnel, really. But yeah, difficult time. Everyone's got a story. Everyone goes through difficult things. But although I'm thankful that Llandudno wanted me to stay in charge, I just had to think of myself, think of the family, and kind of try and settle things off the pitch rather than stick to football, because I've always put football in front of my family prior. So it was the first time, I think, in my life that I've actually kind of gave up in a way, because I had nothing else to give.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate you opening up about that, mate. Difficult time in your life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But you know, like I said, everyone's got a story, haven't they? So mine was just, it was quite chaotic, and you know, all at the same time, where you know, no one expected my mother to pass away the way she did, and then my father going into a decline. So, and then obviously the struggles with football, it was like a vicious circle in a way. But I think I've gained a lot of like mental toughness. You know, I'm a bit more resolute. You know, and it's yeah a really good learning curve despite the you know how bad it was.
Yeah, no, I think it's good that you've got this opportunity now to to say like what actually went on, because I think people can be very judgmental when they don't know actually what's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. But you know, it's you know, when you put yourself, you know, above the parapet, you know, you're always going to get, you know, people say negative things and all that. But it's why we do it. You know, that's why I'm a big believer in, you know, don't take the highs too high and not the lows too low, because you know there are kind of things in the background that can affect. And yeah, it's one of them things. I've had a really good time at Carnarvon. I've had a really bad time at Llandudno, and yeah, you just have to go again, haven't you? You can't dwell on things. You just have to yeah keep going, keep moving forward, and thankfully I've been given an opportunity with Anglesey and Bangor 1876 now, which yeah, and my personal life has settled down, so hopefully I can kick on and give you know if not more effort than what I did at Carnarvon to Bangor now, and hopefully be successful together.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Am I right in saying that you were or still are a scout for Everton?
Yeah, I'm not doing as much as I used to. I used to go out every weekend and watch junior games around the Northwest region, but when especially when I took over at Llandudno, I had to kind of tail back my commitment to them. I still do like your ad hoc, like they, you know, I'll get some phone calls sometimes saying, "Oh, there's a player in such and such Llandudno, Bangor, whatever. They're playing on Sunday. Can you go and watch them?" And I'll go and watch them, and I'll make like a bit of a report and submit it, and then if the child's good enough, then I'll send him in to Finch Farm, the Everton training ground for 6 weeks or so. And yeah, I am still affiliated, still a part of the scouting team, but I don't do as much as I used to.
Okay. Is there any chance you could go a bit further into depth with the scouting? Maybe like what ages you're asked to look at, what,
Yeah, definitely.
you know, just a bit more like that, if you could, please.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I can't remember how I got into it first, but uh, basically I was approached by, I think I was at Carnarvon at the time. I was approached by the North Wales coordinator, who, because of my contacts, yeah, got in touch with me asking if I'd be interested in becoming an academy scout for Everton. And yeah, I jumped at the chance because you know I'm an Evertonian myself. You know, I live and breathe the club, and yeah, I always enjoy going to Finch Farm to see the players and to see the surroundings and the kids and so forth. But yeah, my job or the task to start off with was to go around the North Wales, the Northwest as well, looking at players, looking at games, submitting reports, and if there were kids or children, you know, good enough, well, that I thought they were good enough to for a trial at Everton itself, and I'd send you know, I'd speak to the parents, make them aware of who I was, and then I'd, you know, invite them along for a 6 week trial to Finch Farm in the development centre. Obviously, when I took over at Llandudno, you know, it became impossible for me to, because I was travelling all over the country with the Welsh Premier Games being on Fridays, you know, Saturdays or Sundays. It became impossible for me to do both, but they wanted me to stay involved, and yeah, I do it like independently now. Where if there is a certain player somewhere, then they'll ask me to go along and give an independent view, which is good because it remains on my CV. It's good experience, and obviously still affiliated to Everton, which being an Evertonian is really good.
Yeah. That's brilliant. What what would be like the maximum age that you'd be asked to look at then?
Do you know what they range from all sorts of ages. You know, it's you look at children as young as 5 years old, and I went to a goalkeeping event a few months ago, and you've got goalkeepers turning up at 15 years of age. So, yeah, basically, there's no real age range because they're afraid of losing players through the net. I'll give you an example. I've got a young boy now who's with Man City. He's from Bangor. And with my contacts in Shrewsbury, I've sent him on trial to Shrewsbury, and he's done really successful playing against Aston Villa on the weekend, and he's been given an extended trial. So he's 13 years of age, plays in the under 14. So there's no real age range these days. Because they're just so afraid of losing players through the net. So if you think they're good enough, whether they're 15 years of age or whether they're 5 years of age, then yeah, you send them through and see what happens, really.
Awesome. So will Everton come to you and say, we're looking for a left winger that can do this and that, or like is it a bit more open than that?
Oh no, it's a lot more open than that. It's they're again a good footballer that makes it. The outlook of Premier League teams, especially these days, is that player, regardless of what age the child may be, can play in any position. I've been watching some academy games at Finch Farm a few months back where during the game they would rotate the players. So say, a number 9 would start in his number 9 position, start the game in his number 9 position, and then 10 minutes in he'd be playing left back because the coaches and the club want these players these days to have an appreciation of every position on the pitch. So, for example, the reason why that striker went and played at left back was because the coaches and the club want him to have an appreciation of what type of ball in the channel a fullback may play. So if he's playing that ball from a left back position, then when he then goes back in as a striker, he will understand what type of run, what type of area that he needs to make. So yeah, they rotate players in every position to give them a broader knowledge, a broader understanding of the game.
That's very interesting. That is it. Like, are you given like a sheet with like tick boxes, or is it a bit more like in your head, if you know what I mean? Or
no, it's like it's a template. It's like a report template where there's different sections to it, obviously with the details of the child, and then you've got to explain the strengths and weaknesses and so forth. And yeah, it's just basically a data sheet. And then obviously if you come across a boy that's quite special and that you think that can progress further than the 6 weeks that he's been given by yourself at Finch Farm, then you have to go a little bit more in detail in terms of justifying your decision to kind of send him in and why you think he'll progress and etc. So yeah, it is quite a long drawn out system. But again, they will not turn their heads on any player that you think is good enough because again, they're afraid of losing players through the nets, if you like.
yeah. Would you say more now than ever it's easier to get spotted?
I would say, yeah, 100%. When I was younger, opportunities were very limited. Being a part of Wrexham for a few years was a dream for me. But these days, kids are being invited. We're setting this 1876 academy up here now, and we'll be invited to Everton to play in friendlies. Just in case they spot that one little player that can, become your Wayne Rooney's or your Dominic Calvert-Lewin or whatever. So yeah, it is. The opportunities these days is endless, but it's brilliant for the kids because it's good experience as well. But a lot of heartbreak comes with it because how many children that's been put forward actually make it is minimal. But again, I would love if I was a young aspiring footballer at this in this day and age.
Yeah, I see one name that gets mentioned quite a lot from around where I'm from, and you've probably heard it yourself. We've probably come across this player as Stephen Whittaker, Tycho.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Like I'd struggle to believe that had he been like a 16-year-old now.
Yeah, he'd have been picked up, wouldn't he? He would have been picked up. It's the same with players like Jay Gibbs and so forth. Very good technical players. Obviously, Jay was picked up by Tranmere, but he's got the quality to be playing professional football week in, week out. But
Yeah.
again, it's being at the right place at the right time and having that bit of luck. Which, if Jay Gibbs was only 12 years of age now, then I'm sure he would be he would have had inundated with offers.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say so. So, what are your thoughts on the likes of the V9 Academy then? Do you know Jamie Vardy's
Yeah,
academy?
oh, it's another shop window, in my opinion. I know people think it's just for TV purposes, but at the end of the day, it's another way to try and gain that opportunity at a professional club. So it's good because it's something that Jamie Vardy believes in, and again, he's got a contract with the TV which shows some of the programs and so forth. So if it works for certain individuals, then yeah, I'm all for it. And obviously they get to continue their development and a bit of an edge to it, of competition to it, because they're all fighting for that one goal, aren't they? Which is to earn a contract at a professional football club.
Yeah. You spoke a bit then about Jay Gibbs, someone that you've worked with a lot of in your managerial career. And I've noticed that you like to try and bring players that have been around you to your new clubs.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 100%. Jay and me go back a long way, and it's fair to say that we have had our ups and downs. But I think if you were to speak with Jay, he'd probably say that I've always tried to be fair in terms of, and Jay was one of the players in the second season at Carnarvon where he struggled to stay on board with what we were trying to do because of what happened in the first season. So yeah, we're really close off the pitch. We clash a lot when we work together, but the only reason why we clash is because I know what Jay can give. I know how good he is, and when Jay's at it, which he was, thankfully in the Island Games, then I don't think there's a better player than him, not just in Anglesey, but in North Wales. So yeah, it's a difficult topic because I don't like to fall out with people that I'm close with off the pitch. But Jay's a fantastic player, and if I can get Jay to Guernsey playing the same way as he did in the Anglesey Island Games, then I'm sure we'll be competing for that gold medal again.
Yeah, I'd like to hope so. I think the squad that we've got, and with some of the young lads coming through, I think there's a good chance of us retaining the gold.
Yeah, there is. But I have to say that we'll have to be realistic with when we go to Guernsey, because I seriously didn't believe, in all honesty, although I backed the group we had because of the team spirits. I seriously, knowing Jersey's kind of resources and Guernsey as well, having, playing competitively week in, week out in the English system, I didn't believe that we could go and do what we actually did. But obviously, we'll be looking to tweak the squad a little bit when we do go to Guernsey, because people tend to forget about your Danny Brookwells and one or two other players as well that I'll be looking to come in as well. So yeah, it's an exciting time, football within Anglesey, and it's about kind of putting our plans of preparation in place now for Guernsey in 2 years' time.
So what plans will you be putting in place? Like, will there be training starting soon, or like is it more looking at like 6 months before or 12 months prior, or?
Yeah, so basically the plan we've got in place at the moment is we've got a like a dinner or like a celebratory event this Friday night in Tyler Bay. That is where the squad, the sponsors, the MPs and so forth come together. It's a bit of a presentation for some medals as well to kind of celebrate the success, because again it was a bit of a shock to everyone that we actually did what we did. So we're going to get that celebration out the way on Friday, and then the preparation and the planning seriously then begin towards Guernsey. So obviously with Campbell stepping down and stepping aside, my first task will be building a new management team, which is kind of already in dialogue in place at the moment. But again, just waiting for Friday to kind of, draw a line under what we did and then move forward then towards Guernsey. And so there'll be training sessions and friendlies then arranged throughout the course of the next 18 months, just to make sure that we tick over, that we don't lose the camaraderie and the team spirit that we've got within the squad, and to keep us together, really, because I honestly, the changing room that we had during the tournament is the best that I've ever experienced, and I've been in some really good changing rooms. But a really young group, really wanted to work hard for each other, and no one deserves a gold medal more than them, to be honest, with the level of effort they put in during the week.
Yeah, no, definitely. I thoroughly enjoyed the competition, to be truthfully honest with you. But I was shocked that we won the gold.
Yeah, to be honest with you, there was something in the back of my mind that was saying to me that we're on the cusp of something special, and I kept saying it to Campbell throughout the course of the week, and then obviously we approached it really well. We said to ourselves, we'll just take it game by game. I thought we were lucky to win the first game, although we were the better side, but the conditions were awful, and we went 1-0 down, and we were thinking, oh God, we're already out of the tournament. But then, again, the players we had, dug in and showed a lot of character to win the game. And yeah, it's just momentum built, and it got better and better. And then I remember getting to the semi-final and saying to Campbell, if we beat the Shetland Islands and get to the final, then that's it, job done, because we've done what we set out to do, which was to get to an Island Games final for the first time in 20 years. And then I honestly didn't believe that we could go and beat Guernsey because of how regular they play within the English system and the resources and the players that they've actually got who have actually been there and done it. And the game, the final itself, had a bit of a story in itself, where we went 1-0 down, and I thought, oh my God, this is going to end up 4 or 5-0. And then the sending off changed the complexion of the game, and we were, again, they missed a penalty, and I was just saying to Campbell, let's just get into half time at 1-0 down and kind of get the players under wraps and initiate a game plan and this, that, the other. And then second half was all us, and I thought we thoroughly deserved the win, to be honest with you. But it was magical. It was fantastic for the island.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could argue after that final match that we deserved to end up gold medalists.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
So, what changes, if any, will you be looking to make to the Ynys Mon setup compared to like Campbell?
Nothing really, because I think is important about continuity. So obviously we'll have the majority of the same squad more or less, bar one or two. But to be fair to the players, and I'm sure the players would tell you themselves, that we approached every single game individually by the knowledge and the information that we'd received from people watching, the teams that we were playing in other games. So we had a game plan for every individual game, which the players executed to a T. And I think the Jersey game, the last group game at Llangefni, where we won 1-0, that is a game plan that was executed to the best of our abilities. That was just a perfect 90 minutes where we knew we'd be under the cosh. We sat in and then looked to counter, and Liam Morris, was a threat throughout, drove a ball into the box, own goal, we 1-0 up, and then we had something to protect. So that's the same kind of approach we'll do. We'll go there realistically. Yeah, we'll be, everyone will want to beat us because we're the holders of the gold medal, but we'll be going to every game, individually with a specific plan, and to give a good account of ourselves again, hopefully.
I'm sure you will, mate. I'm sure you will. You mentioned there that you'll be taking a similar squad to who won gold. Is there any people or young players that you're looking at that could potentially come in? I don't really expect you to name them because that'd probably be unfair. But
no, I'll be honest, Craig. We're obviously, Danny Brookwell's a close friend of mine, so Danny will come in, no doubt about it. And then we've got a fantastic young player at Bangor 1876, Dylan Summers-Jones. who's been on fire this season. To be honest, I think he's in this. I think he's got about 30 goals at the moment. Only 17, 18 years of age. Fantastic, explosive player, and can make things happen. So he's another player that I'll be looking to bring in, along with a couple of others as well. But yeah, we've got a long road, to wait until we get to Guernsey. So I'll be trying to watch as many games as possible to see if I can get, your Liam Morris's, who I don't think many people knew of until he came on the scene with the Island Games. And for me, the best player in the tournament, no doubt. And obviously Conway snapped him up, and he's doing really well in the Cumbria Alliance at the moment. So yeah, there's always good players on the island, but it'll be about spending time going to watch games and picking one or two up along the way.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned there about Dylan Summer Jones. The page Sport Thought I've like massively like backed him. He won Player of the Month last month, and yeah, we've been tracking what he's doing. I wanted to speak to you about him, and obviously you're a scout yourself for Everton, and I wanted to see what your thoughts were about the lad.
I rate him really highly. He's a good lad as well. Welsh lad, well speaking. Loves football. Always got a smile on his face. But he's one of these that will be disappointed if he doesn't score, because he always wants to better himself. So you have to keep his head up. A lot of the time, if he doesn't score goals. But no, he'll probably say it himself that he's probably one of the young lads at the club that I've probably clicked with the most. And I get a lot of sense of reward when I work with young players like that, because they want to progress and do well. And Llangefni have already come for him twice this season, once in September, once in January. But the lad doesn't want to go anywhere, because he understands and appreciates the developments he's getting with us at 1876. And with the plans that's going on in the background at the moment, we'll probably be playing Llangefni in the near future. So yeah, really good lad, really explosive player with goals in abundance. And if he continues the way he's going, then we'll have a hell of a job on our hands in order to keep him.
Yeah, I've spoken about him to a lot of people, and I've said that he's destined for at least Welsh Premier League.
Yeah, definitely. He's got the attitude and he's got the build as well. He's very athletic. He's ripped to shreds. He's quick. He's explosive. He works in the gym, so he works in his own time as well, on his physique and his upper body strength. So yeah, he's definitely got the mentality, but he is quite raw. He's got a lot of learning in terms of pitch orientation and movement a little bit, but that's going to come because this is his first season in senior football. So yeah, it takes time, but he is one that listens and will learn, and no doubt will have a successful career.
And just because I said that he is destined for the Welsh Premier League, that doesn't mean that he won't still be with Bangor 1876.
Well, because that we've got aspirations of getting there ASAP. Really, I'm sure everyone involved with the club will tell you that. Whether it's the chairman, the board members, the management team, myself, the players themselves. We want to get there ASAP, and we've been, in communication with the Welsh FA throughout the course of this season to see, where can we be next year. Because if we continue in the way that we have been in terms of, winning games in the manner that we have been, and with the university backing us and wanting to improve the ground, then we'll have the team, the squad, the resources, and obviously the backing of the fans as well to that'll fit in with the Welsh Premier League, really, really nicely.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned the fans there. I think Bangor 1876 will only grow, and that's in terms of the league, that's in terms of players wanting to join, that's in terms of fans coming to watch. I think it's a great club, but that's only going to breed positivity and great things for Bangor.
Yeah, definitely. It's it's been a breath of fresh air, really. I thought I'd cop a lot of stick, because a lot of people tend to think that I am from Carnarvon, which I'm not. So, but from the first minute I stepped into the club, they've been unbelievable. The board, the management, the player, everyone. It's a real like community, family club, and like you say, we've been getting like vast amounts of crowd, like 400 plus. And to be fair, I'll even admit it. The quality in some of the games can be poor because especially the games that we've been winning, convincingly, with no disrespect to the opposition, but for the fans to keep coming to watch that kind of quality and to remain as passionate as they are. We had 180 supporters there on Saturday, and it's probably the worst conditions that I've ever experienced in football in my life. And I even snuck away at half time myself home to get a shower and came back in a spare change of clothes. But they're really passionate people that have suffered a lot of heartbreak through what's happened with obviously Bangor City. And but this has kind of reinvigorated the city, and to see the fans so passionate as they are is just it's a bit of an eye opener, really.
Yeah, definitely. I can only see good things happening there, to be truthfully honest with you.
Definitely.
Going back to Dylan Summer-Jones quickly, I was speaking to him a couple of weeks back. I think he just scored 4 goals, maybe 5.
Yeah.
And, he was saying, I'm gutted though because I missed the sitter.
Yeah, that's Dylan Summer-Jones all over. If he comes out the shower and I walk up to him and say well done, he'll just say yeah I know, but I could have done better in this type of situation within the game. And yeah, he, to be fair to him, he always looks at the negatives rather than the positives. But that's a good sign. That's because you can get a lot of young lads these days who kind of get ahead of themselves. Put things on social media and this, that, the other. But Dylan is a really quiet lad who really wants to do well in his football career. And like I said, if it's not in the Welsh Premier, then I'm sure he can progress further.
Yeah, definitely. He's a very humble lad.
Yeah, definitely.
He's a good lad, to be fair to him. And I was speaking to him, I said, it's only going to help you playing alongside the likes of Les and Jamie Petrie and stuff like
that. Definitely, yeah, definitely.
What's it like working with people like Les and Jamie Petrie? Obviously, you got a lot of young talent that are at the club, but you've got a good blend of experience and promising talent. What's that like?
Oh, it's brilliant. It really is brilliant. I the only reason why I wanted to kind of stay within football this year is because I knew I'd missed the dressing room, and we have a brilliant blend or brilliant balance of players in our dressing room. Like you mentioned, you got your Jamie Petrie, that I played with at Connors Quay years ago. We got your John Knows, who I managed at Carnarvon, although he always brings it up that I released him from Carnarvon every week. But and then I had lads at Llandudno, and I played with lads years and years ago at Port Maddox. So really, I've known of them or been quite pally with them through football a long time. So, and then you've got these young lads who have come in, and they're not afraid to throw their weight about and join in with the banter as well. So it's a really good mix. But I think that's one thing that Mel always speaks to myself and John Les and Pets about is trying to bring these young lads out of the shells. And we've just signed a young lad called Sean Parry from Port Maddox recently, and
Yeah,
there's a good example of a lad who quite shy and assuming when he first came in, but then came out of his shell on Saturday and smashed 4 goals in those conditions, and he wasn't feeling well at all either. So yeah, that's the plan in terms of getting the right blend, the right mix, and it's worked so far this year, and it can only help us in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. I think it says a lot when you've got players like Sean Parry that are joining the club and dropping down a couple of tiers.
Yeah, it's a good message. Some people look at it as if it's all money orientated, but Sean's not getting paid a penny. People think that we're paying a fortune for players and this, that, the other, but it's a story, it's a project, and people want to be part of this project because we're only, our aspirations is to get to the Welsh Premier, and Sean was, getting minutes here and there for Port Maddox, although he was scoring the odd goal as well. But as soon as we made an approach, I spoke to Paps, and it materialised, and it's only going to benefit us because he's already a proven goal scorer within this league. So we wanted something different to Les up top, you know, in terms of someone running in behind, and Sean fits the criteria. He's from the same hometown as myself, and yeah, it's a good blend. You know, if Les didn't play on Saturday, Sean played. Sean scored 4, so I presume Sean will keep the shirts, because that's another message that we tend to give at the club, where if you play well, you stay in. And the squad we've got is big, but it's competitive, and we've all stuck together.
That's brilliant. That, and I think Sean Parry's an amazing signing. He's obviously a proven goal scorer in the Gwynedd League. So yeah, excellent signing. And would you say that there's potential there for Bangor to strengthen further during this transfer window? Or
Yeah, we've got one more coming in soon. One more is in process, and he will probably be another huge signing. He's not come from the Welsh system; he's come from another system. But his pedigree and the quality that he's got, it's going to be a bit of an eye-opening signing, given the standard he was playing at the start of the season. I wish I could tell you, but obviously with how the new process works with signing players and stuff at the moment, I don't want to jinx the signing, because it's very exciting. And a lot of clubs within the Cymru Alliance especially were looking to get hold of him, but he's chosen us. And if when we get him through the door in the next couple of days, it will certainly be a very exciting signing. But that's it then. We've only got one more. We've got, to be fair to the current squad before Sean came in, we've signed Ryan Pope also, with good pedigree, having been at Wrexham and Liverpool. But we already had a squad who had won every game leading up, to January. So we don't want to strengthen too much now, because what we've got is good enough anyway. But obviously, when players like Sean and this new lad that we've got coming in now become available, then you have to jump at the opportunity. But yeah, that's it then. That's our business done.
I'm quite excited to hear who this will be. Like,
yeah, he's a different player to Sean. He's not a goal scorer. He's a more defensive-minded player. But in terms of his career so far, and and his pedigree, he's definitely one that it'll be a fantastic signing.
You were speaking before about how the squad currently is unbeaten in the league. Do you believe that you can go all season unbeaten?
Yeah, without a doubt. We've got obviously difficult away games coming up at Menai Bridge, Nevin, which are 2 games that we're obviously looking at. If we obviously don't lose them 2 games, then I think we've won the league. But we've got a very good, competitive, ambitious squad, which don't only want to go unbeaten throughout the course of the season, but we actually want to win every game. And I think if we do that, I think it'll be the first team that's ever done it in any system, in any level in the Welsh system. So that is the ambition, and I don't think it's unachievable either with the way that we've been playing so far. So yeah, that's the aim, is to win every game, and I think we can do it. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. I'd struggle to find a team that would beat you, even potentially in a league or 2 above, to be truthfully honest with you.
Yeah, well, we had a bit of a rude awakening away at Llanrwst in the trophy, in the Welsh trophy. Although we had a couple of players missing, I think they schooled us on the day. Which, when you're winning games and tonking teams in the Gwynedd League, you need one of them games to kind of open your eyes and give you a bit of a kick up the backside. And that gave us an inkling of how much we need to strengthen if we progress through the leagues. And it was a good learning curve, because you can get ahead of yourselves when you keep winning games the way we win games. But we've definitely got a good squad, and we've improved it over the last 2 weeks. And if we get promotion, depending on which level we'll be next year, then we'll have to strengthen even further. But plans and players and everything are already in our heads. We know who we want. We know the way we're going to approach it, and we'll just need to finish the job of winning this league first.
Interesting. Yeah, my my friend who I work with on Sport Thought, Mike Williams, he's the manager of Ogwen Tigers, who
Oh,
obviously,
okay, yeah,
who you
yeah,
beat 7-0 at the weekend, and he just sent me a message just saying they are too good.
yeah. To be fair, it's horrible conditions, but yeah, I think we to be fair, we handled the conditions quite well and played some good football, scored some good goals. But it's always difficult when you come to Treborth because we're a footballing side and they like to dominate the ball. And when you can't get the ball off us, then it can be kind of demoralising and energy zapping. So yeah, we done it well on Saturday, and unfortunately, Ogwen Tigers were on the back of another beating, really. But yeah, good. It's a good side. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was saying that you could count on one hand how many times his team got to touch the ball.
yeah, yeah. But to be fair to him, they've given us two tough games. It was tough on Saturday with the conditions as well, but the first game of the season was also tough. So they're not a bad side. They're a good side. They work hard and some good young lads, and I'm sure they'll. It's their first season as well, so I'm sure they'll do well as as the years go by.
So I'm sure that'll soften the blow after some nice words there from yourself, Ewan.
No problem, mate. No problem.
So what I would like to ask is how did you even get involved with Bangor?
Oh, Mel was my coach at Wrexham. I knew Mel, for about for 20 years. I've known Mel. So yeah, obviously, it was, having won the Island Games, it was just an avenue for me to get back into football, and enjoy it rather than be in the limelight and under the pressures of being a manager. So yeah, I knew Les as well, obviously, and John O, and it kind of materialised through a couple of conversations, and spoke to Mel, and Mel told me about the club's ambitions and playing in the Gwynedd League. He wanted experienced players, and yeah, I agreed, and it just spiraled from there, really. But I'm just a bit gutted that I haven't been able to give the young lads a bit of support on the pitch as well as off it as much as I have, because I think I've only played about 69 minutes, all in of competitive football this year. So yeah, it's been a bit of a nightmare, but it's been an enjoyable nightmare, really, because I've enjoyed every second of being involved with the football club.
I think not just myself, but like I think the whole of North Wales football, when it said that Bangor 1876 had signed yourself, they,
Yeah.
everyone was thinking I was going to be in some sort of managerial capacity.
No, well, it's a bit of everything, really. It's the same with Pets, Les, and Jono as well, where we were involved in team meetings, we're involved in discussions. I am more involved now, given the title that I've just been given. But yeah, obviously with me being on the pro license and completing it in September, it was just I just told them to use me as much as they want in any capacity, and obviously they wanted to use me as a footballer as well. So yeah, that lasted 69 minutes until I suffered this injury, and yeah, but I'm just glad to still be involved.
Yeah. We're going to talk about your injuries. From what you suggested is that your career has been a bit hampered by injuries.
Yeah, massively.
Could you reel off your injury?
Oh God, have you got all night? Have you? uh, yeah, I've got bad ankles. I've always been known to have chocolate ankles because they snap quite easily. I've had countless knee operations. Rebuilt my groin. But I've got to say, I've had like a cracked sternum. It's my own fault, really, because I kind of enjoy the physical part of the game, and I tend to go into tackles that I shouldn't really go into, which has obviously ended my career. But yeah, it's this. I have to say, this injury has been the worst of the lot because the pain has been immense, and yeah, it's been frustrating because I've been in agony for 6 months, and I need for surgery now to clear everything out because the rehab that I've done over the last 3 to 4 months hasn't worked. The tendon is still partially torn, and yeah, it's just been an absolute nightmare.
Mate, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh no, it's all right, mate. It's one of them things, isn't it? One of them things.
Jesus.
Yeah, nightmare.
What is there? Is there any reason why you're so injury prone, or
Yeah, because I'm an idiot when I play. I just like I said, I go into 80-20 tackles in which I shouldn't really go into because it's either myself or the other player that's going to get hurt, and usually it ends up being myself. So the I've had two instances this season of my Achilles snapping, and the recent one was due to a tackle, and it actually went as I went into the tackle itself. So that's me done now. I've learnt my lesson, and no more competitive football for me. Well, no more any football for me, apart from maybe kicking the young lads in training every so often. But no, that's me done.
you watch yourself though, mate?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. They're too quick these days. Anyway, can't catch anyone.
we'll talk a bit about your pro license because
Yeah.
that is a huge achievement. Could you just talk a bit about the experience and like how it went, like how the actual experience went about, like?
Uh, yeah, it was tough. Like it was daunting and really challenging, and took me out of my comfort zone because you're sitting there with Premier League managers. It's really privileged to have done it with Chris Wilder, who's actually flying in the Premier League with Sheffield United at the moment. And I have to say, what a humble human being, and there's no surprise for me personally that he's doing so well that in the Premier League as he is, because he's a fantastic man, not just a manager but a man as well. And he's on our level. There's no big time about him. He's a normal man, and just loves the game and really good ideas. Quite old school. But to do it with people like that was brilliant. Having the opportunity to go to Geneva to the UEFA delegates office to bounce ideas off pro licensed coaches in other countries like Russia and Turkey and so forth, and then spending time with a club in Finland on a study visit. That team actually won the Finnish Premier League this year, so seeing how they work with limited resources and stuff, and obviously Finland qualifying for the Euros for the first time in God knows how many years. But really, really good experience. Bit like a degree with a lot of paperwork, a lot of research, and so forth. But again, it was an unbelievable 18 months, and one that I'll cherish and remember for the rest of my football career.
Excellent. So say now, you've got a pro license. What
Yeah.
what does that like gain you in the world of football? Like what can you do with that?
Well, I can work anywhere in the world at any level. I can work in the Premier League. I can be a Premier League manager. I can work internationally. Can work for Wales. Obviously, you need the pro license if you're working in the Welsh Prem and you're going for European qualification. So it's basically, it's the highest qualification within football in the world, and you can do what you can work at any level, at any standard, in any place in the world with that qualification.
Wow, that's amazing, Iwan.
Yes, really, it's something to be proud of, but it's taken a lot of hard work to get there, and a lot of dedication and commitment, and it's well worth it, definitely.
Fair play. And what would you say are the ambitions for yourself then going forward in football?
I guess it's always been an ambition of mine to work in football full time. I had a couple of offers in the summer um, to go into the English system and work, in full time football. But obviously, it's this. I work in nuclear in my professional career, and it's a bit more secure. The money's a lot better, and it's just something has to be right, and something has to come at the right time. And unfortunately, last summer wasn't the right time. But the ambition is to work in football full time. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not going to lie, and it's always been a dream of mine to be a professional footballer. Fortunately, I didn't realise that dream. So the next best thing is to work as a coach in football full time, and hopefully, that opportunity will come. And yeah, it's just about working hard and keeping your eyes open. And if that opportunity comes, then at the right time, then I'll jump at it.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid plan. To be fair, and
Yeah.
I think you've got what it takes to achieve that. To be honest with you.
Yeah, hopefully, like I said, the pro license obviously gives me an advantage in trying to achieve that. But yeah, it's quite a ruthless world, and obviously with a young family as well, it needs to be right. It needs to be secure. So yeah, if that comes about, then I'll jump at the chance and work my hardest at being a success in the role.
Awesome. Um, Talking about on ambitions,
Yep.
what are the ambitions of Bangor 1876? Obviously, it's Welsh Premier League, but what happens with the ground, with the fans? Like, what's the next step?
The next step is, yeah, we're obviously going for promotion. We need to win the league first, which we are. We're really close in terms of doing so. Um, we've got a fantastic backing from the university. I was present in a meeting on last Friday night in terms of we've got an action plan in place by the Welsh FA of what needs to be done, not only to meet tier 3 criteria, but also tier 2. And, we're working closely with the university and getting everything done ASAP. So yeah, the short-term goal is to win the league. Then obviously we'll see where we are next year in terms of promotion. But the ultimate goal is to get to the Welsh Premier League, and the university, the fans, the board, everyone shares that common goal. And in 5 years' time, I talk about this 5-year plan recently. Since since I was given the role as director of football, the vision will become clearer in the next few months. And yeah, that's the ultimate goal: Welsh Premier League football for Bangor 1876.
Awesome, awesome. So I've got one more question to ask you. That's on this topic, and then the rest of the topic is a little bit off topic, if you know what I mean. So who would you say now are your top 5 youngsters that you could see making it in the Premier League, the Welsh Premier League,
From Bangor 1876?
or just around the North Wales area?
That's a good question. We've got a young lad at Bangor 1876 that I highly rate. His name's Iwan Williams. He's a centre half, come through the Bangor City youth setup, and he's been playing week in, week out next to Jono for us. And what a fantastic footballer. I know people always look at like Dylan Summers and all them by scoring Sean Parry's, but because of the goals they score. But for me, Iwan Williams is the number 1 prospect in North Wales. He's already with the Welsh schools. A fantastic young lad, really quiet and assuming, but absolutely hard as nails on the football pitch and can play football as well. He's naturally 2-footed, and yeah, he's going to go a long way. I'd say another lad called Kian as well. Obviously, he's at Colwyn Bay, the left back.
Yeah, I know Kian quite well.
Yeah, Kian's another one that I highly rate. And I'm sure he's gonna go a long way. Obviously, Dylan Summers as well. I'm being biased now because of the 1876 connection, but yeah, there's 3 for you. I know Liam Morris is still young. Obviously worked with him in the Anglesey Island games and doing quite well for Conway. He's got the potential to go all the way, in my opinion. And finally, I'd say Kai Powell Roberts at Llangefni.
Okay.
Yeah, really good centre half. He's a centre half, in my opinion. Can play midfield, can play fullback. We actually started him as a right winger in the final of the Island games to do a job when their left back, who we thought was their main strength, and he'd done a really good job. We then switched him to centre half to drive the ball into midfield because we had the man extra, with them having a player sent off. So yeah, there's your five really: Kean Williams, Dylan Summers, Kean from Colwyn Bay, Kai Powell, and Liam Morris.
Awesome. And who are your favourite players that you've worked with?
Although you'll be quite like taken aback by it, I got to say Jay Gibbs. He's a pain in the neck, but he's a good lad and he is a good player. I like a challenge. I like to work with players that are quite difficult. Or got strong characters, and Jay's one of them. So he'd probably be up there. Jamie Breeze at Carnarvon, the centre forward. Really good lad, really nice lad. Another one that will run and fight and scrap, and was a breath of fresh air, and probably my best signing in my managerial career so far. There's a few within the 1876 squad that are really good lads, and ones that I hope to work with, for a long time in the future.
Excellent. There's a young lad there that he plays for Chemice, but he also plays for Carnarvon's under 19s. He's just made it into the Welsh schoolboy squad. I don't know if you know him, Daniel Jones.
I've heard of him. Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he plays striker for Chemice, and he plays centre back for Carnarvon under 19s, which is quite bizarre. But
yeah. Oh, no, good.
Watching him on the field, he's just years beyond like his age, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
I'll have to keep an eye out.
no, you won't. He's playing for Chemice.
In the summer, then. In the summer.
No, don't keep any eye out, mate.
Right. Brilliant.
So, am I correct in saying that you're related to? Is it Cabango?
Yeah, Ben Cabango. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the relation?
Yeah. So, Ben Cabango's mother is obviously my mum's passed away, but Ben's mother. I am first cousin to Ben Cabango's mum. So wow. Ben is actually my second cousin, and he's actually got a younger brother as well, called Theo Cabango, who is actually signed a 3-year deal with Cardiff Blues in rugby. Wow. And plays for the Wales under 18s and the under 20s rugby squad as well. So yeah, Ben's flying with football. Obviously done really well yesterday against Cardiff, and Theo is actually a fantastic rugby player as well. So it won't be no surprise that you'll see both of them, playing for Wales one day in their respected sports. So yeah, really, really, really nice lads, really quiet, and they're really athletic. You could always sense that they'd be stars even from as they were kids, because everything they did in terms of athletics or football or rugby or whatever, they were miles better than the rest. No disrespect, but yeah, the mother, obviously my cousin Alicia, she's Welsh speaking. She was a taekwondo champion, and the father Paolo was a basketball player as well. So it's in their genes really to become professional athletes.
Yeah, I've noticed that you've been down to the Liberty a few times.
Yeah, well, my mum before she passed. My mum was really close to them. She used to go down there and spend a lot of time with them, because my mum was actually from South Wales, and yeah, they're probably the cousins that I'm closer to, or not since recently, but anyway, because of my mother always used to take us down there and stay with them and so forth. But yeah, I'm just proud to see Ben and Theo doing so well, and I wish my mother was still alive to see it as well. But yeah, she'd probably be proud of them as well.
Nice one, mate. Nice one. So going through Iwan Williams' phone now.
Yeah.
Top 3 that I'm going to be impressed with.
As in contacts.
Yeah.
Great question. Yeah, Chris Wilder.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, Chris Wilder, who I had a conversation over text a couple of weeks ago. Obviously James Collins, the ex West Ham centre half, who played for Wales, 50 caps for Wales. I'm leading his soccer schools as well. He's a good lad, and really kind of bonded with him recently since doing these soccer schools for him. And Jack Collison, maybe. Jack's a good friend of mine. He's just moved to America, become a coach with Atlanta. He's been invited over to stay with him. Jack played for Wales as well, West Ham. Unfortunately, had to retire early from football, but a very unbelievable coach, fantastic football coach. That's my top three, maybe. All Premier League related, which is quite good for a lad from Penryn Deudraeth. But yeah, that's my top three. I think that I kind of speak to a bit and kind of exchange messages with on a regular basis.
Wow. I think me and you will have a few a bit of a chat. I think the last thing that I wanted to mention was, you're taking part in Dry January, yeah?
I am, mate, for my sins, and it's absolutely killing me.
Would you like to just plug that a little bit, just in case someone listening fancies donating?
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah, basically, on the back of losing my mother to cancer quite suddenly, I vowed that I would do something every year to raise awareness and to try and raise some money for the charity. So, I cycled 220 miles last year from Wilver to Gloucester over 2 days. And we raised something like £5,000 for our ward, actually, in Bangor Hospital, because the care they gave my mother before she passed was unbelievable. So we did that as a mean of thanks. And yeah, this year I was supposed to run the London Marathon for cancer, and unfortunately, snapping my Achilles has not only ended my football career, but means that I'm unable to run the marathon. And being a person that kind of enjoys an alcoholic beverage, especially after a game on a Saturday, this was the next toughest thing that I thought I could do. And so I'm doing Dry January to raise funds for cancer research and to in memory of my late mother as well. So yeah, that's the reason why I'm doing it.
Excellent, mate. And if anyone wants to donate, you could probably find the link on your Twitter.
It's on Twitter. It's on 1876's website and on their Facebook as well, I think.
Brilliant. I think that's pretty much everything, Iwan.
No worries, mate. No problem at all.
Unless there's anything that you want to add.
No. Thanks for your time, and yeah, it's been brilliant to speak to Sport Thoughts again. It's a page that I keep an eye on, and it's obviously done really well over the last year or so. And yeah, just keep going.
Oh, thanks, mate. I really appreciate that.
No, brilliant, mate.